Jim, was that exactly the type of performance we needed to get a result today?
Yeah, I mean, look, it wasn't pretty. We're not going to stand here and try and gloss over it. It was, a really difficult game. There wasn't many great passages of play in it from either team. It was really scrappy. We knew that was the type of game it was going to be before we came here, because we know what St Mirren are like as a team. Very physical, very strong. Get the ball forward early. We took a lot of learnings from the game against Kilmarnock last weekend, where we didn't defend the box well enough in that opening 15-20 minutes of the second half, and lost those 3 goals at that point. Today I thought we were the polar opposite of that. We stopped crosses when we could, and then when we couldn't, we had to defend the box, and at times Jack Walton's had to step up and make 1 or 2 good saves. So today is all about the players for me. It's all about the group. The only bit of information really I gave them in the build-up to the game was to deny St Mirren the space in behind, because we know that's what Olasanya wants. That's what the pace that they've got at the top end of the pitch, and to try and win those individual battles. Be aggressive, do the basics, but the rest of it's over to the players. They showed real character, real commitment, real effort. Stuff that you can't coach, and that's what ultimately got us the result.
If we just look at the way that you managed the game, though, you made just a tactical tweak just before the break, so how important do you feel that was in allowing us to dominate the second half the way that we did?
Yeah, I mean, St Mirren caught us on the hop before the game. I think Stephen Robinson has played a back four probably a handful of times in his time here as manager. All season they've played a 3-5-2, and obviously we can only go off what previous games are, and when we're analysing them as a team, it was a 3-5-2. They set up in a 4-3-3 today. Their fullbacks were getting too much time and space on the ball. Their wingers were penning us back into a back five, and we had to change it, and unfortunately Jort van der Sande was the one that we had to sacrifice. It's never nice as a player, I understand that, but I've got to make those difficult decisions for the best of the team, and by bringing Glenn Middleton on and pushing Lucas Stevenson that little bit higher, we were able to go and put a little bit more pressure on the fullbacks, stop them carrying the ball into those deep positions like they were in the opening half an hour, and that allowed us to settle the game down a little bit.
If we just look at the goal, it was Emmanuel Adebayor that got it. How pleased are you with the way that him and others that came in the summer have slotted into the group, because it's been a pretty seamless transition from May last year to the start of this season?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think like any new signing, it sometimes takes a little bit of time to settle into the group. A new way of playing, a different league to what you're used to, and I think we saw that with Manny. He was, he had moments in the Ross County game that were a bit of naivety and a little bit of immaturity. I think he's grown as a player, as a man. Really pleased for him to get the all-important goal today, because when he was on loan last season at Walsall, he chipped in with 3 or 4 really important goals for them from set plays. But today he was the first one to react in the box. I'm delighted he was onside. I had a slight concern with that at the time, and he probably should have had a couple, to be honest, because I feel he should have scored that one in the first half as well.
If we look at those 2 back-to-back defeats as well, what does it say about the character of the group that they've managed to bounce back straight away and put together 2 really solid results?
Yeah, I mean, look, away to Kilmarnock, we know how difficult that place is. We showed great character on the day to come back from 3-1 down to take a point. Today, we knew that we were going to be lacking in physicality at times, especially the longer the game went on. When you're, bringing Jort van der Sande off and bringing on Glenn Middleton, you all of a sudden, straight away lose aerial presence from corners and from long throws. And then when we finished the game, you've got the likes of Miller Thompson, Glenn, Wee Sibbs and Will Ferry. We were a much smaller team than St Mirren toward the end. They're bringing on giants and the likes of Mikael Mandron and 1 or 2 others. So the players, done really, really well to dig out the result. We know that we have to do better in possession. We have to manage the game a little bit better in terms of the quality on the ball. But sometimes you have to win ugly, and that's what today was about. And I don't think the supporters will care too much about having to win that way sometimes, because ultimately they want to see their team winning. It's a valuable 3 points for us. Another really good away performance, unbeaten now at the moment away from home in the league, and another step in the right direction.
When we were speaking after the Hearts game, we were saying that break maybe came at the wrong time because we had a bit of momentum, but I guess this one's the opposite, even though we're going out on a win, because we're carrying a few knocks. Yeah, I mean,
this break has certainly come at a good time for us now. We're missing some really key players at the moment. Gutted for Louis Moult that he had to miss out today. He took a really heavy knock on the the right side of his right knee last Saturday. This game came too soon, so hopefully he'll make a good recovery during the international break. Obviously Ross Graham limps off this afternoon with what looks like a hamstring strain. Obviously Ryan Strain is out at the moment, along with Trapanovsky. So, you know, we're down to the bare bones at the moment, and you know, we don't carry the biggest squad in the league as it is in comparison to some of the other teams in the league. So we really need these boys to recover, and to recover quickly, to make sure that we're ready for the next phase of games that comes after the international break.
Yeah, getting into the next round of fixtures, we'll look at that a bit later, but 12 points from the first 7 games, you must be pleased with that?
Yeah, I'm delighted. I mean, we're bang on track for where we want to be. We're actually ahead of our target at the moment, which is really pleasing. But you know, as I said, I know it's a really boring answer and a kind of a cliche thing to say, but we can't get carried away. We're going to have to put in those types of performances consistently throughout the course of the campaign if we're to stay in this league. And I said that away at the start of the season. Our main aim at the moment is to accumulate enough points to make sure that we're a Premiership team this time next season. I'm not lacking ambition as a manager in terms of saying that. But once we achieve that, then we can start looking at top 6, and then possibly start looking a little bit further ahead as well. But right now, the players know what the task is. They know what's required of them, and we're going to have to continue to try and keep grinding out these important results.